There's one thing, if you can get it in this life, it's more valuable than everything else. Everything else will be okay, if you have this one thing, and that one thing is a closeness to Allah, is being good with Allah and truly developing a connection and a bond with Him. The problem with people is when life is good, and only good for a lot of people, they get distracted. You go from a video game to a movie to checking social media. When times get tough and your health is gone, none of the things mean anything anymore, the game doesn't feel good anymore, and the friends aren't there. All you would care is when you would be out of the hospital bed and why I could not just walk again. All the things that you lived for, everything that you went for. You don't care about it now, because there is one blessing that Allah has always had diminished for you a little bit, and then at that point you have two options. If you are one of these people that are on the cliff on the edge, they start complaining to Allah, why did you do this to me? Or you could earn the greatest blessing in what you could have on getting closer to Allah and having humility to realize that even when everything was going on well, you did not realize that you were on life support and Allah was providing for you, every moment, which you did not deserve or earn anything on your own. You do not earn something that is a favor from Allah, whatever He has given you, but you don't realize it at the time because it just comes easy. But then you start begging Allah and asking Allah and crying to Allah and praying to Allah like you've never prayed before, feeling closer to Him, like you've never felt before. And then Allah heals you and you realize those moments you had when nobody was in the hospital room, you were just by yourself, crying to Allah, or the sweetest moments of your entire life. Those were the few moments of your life that you actually had nothing between you and Allah, and those might be the moments that save you in the Akhirah that might have been. The biggest gift Allah ever gave you is those moments, but for some people who are on the edge, when times get tough, He turns His face away. What does that mean? It means I want nothing to do with Allah. How come He abandoned me? How can He give me a hard time? Why would He do that to me? You see what happens to, and this is actually very easy to understand. In our times we live in a hyper-consumer society, so everything comes quickly. You want to be entertained, just open up an app on your phone. You want to buy something, just order it on Amazon, it'll show up at your door. Everything's become effortless and everything's become instantaneous. You want something, it'll come to you. You don't have to go to it, it'll come to you. Everything's quick. We're used to getting served now, we're used to constantly getting served. And if one order of yours is 2 days late, 3 days late, you're gonna give it 1-star thumbs down, bad rating. You're used to this now, and now you make dua to Allah. Or you expect Allah to take care of some of your problem, but you're so used to getting things done so quickly and immediately, and when it doesn't happen, we're like, this is poor service, I need better customer service. You know, I'm not going to go to Allah again and place an order because you're a customer now. You're entitled now. He turns his face from Allah. You know, He didn't even listen to me, He didn't even solve my problem. Understand that Allah Azza wa Jal has a plan for everybody. And just to give you a comparison, in the case of Yaqub, who lost his child, Allah returned his child to him after years, many years. And in the case of Musa alayhi salam, his mother also lost her child. She put him in the water and she returned that child after a few hours. Because by the time the child got hungry, the next feeding was from the same mother, because he wouldn't drink from anybody else. What am I trying to get at? Sometimes in this world, sometimes Allah will answer that pain of yours, Allah will relieve it immediately, sometimes He will relieve it after many years. But in all of it there's good, in all of it there's good. I love the story of Yaqub particularly, because think about all those years. This father cried, and eventually He became blind from crying, but all this time where was Yusuf? Was in a prison. Yusuf was being held, and he was a child servant. When he got older enough, he got thrown into prison. He spent many of his years in jail, so either he served as a servant, or he served as a prisoner inmate in jail. Not a good life, that's not a good life. But at the end of it all, when he interprets a dream of the king, and that dream means that the entire economy is going to collapse in 7 years and people are going to die of starvation. The only one who knows how to handle that crisis was Yusuf. Had he not been in jail, he would have never had help the king. You understand this? If Yusuf was with his father though the whole time, that never would have happened, but now that Yusuf is there to interpret the dream and says, I am the one who can take care of this responsibility, make me the treasury secretary, give me this responsibility. When he does that and he takes care of it, what happens next is thousands if not hundreds of thousands of parents don't have to cry that their children died of starvation. One father cried for several years, but his tears Allah made them a way of saving thousands of families from crying, because if he didn't save that economy and he didn't save that crop, the entire land would have been in drought and people would have died of starvation and war would have, all kinds of crisis would have happened. Sometimes the difficulty you go through isn't just better for you, maybe through your difficulty, you will become a sadaka for so many others you don't even know. But if you're on the edge, you don't have that kind of trust in Allah, so you turn your back to Allah, and then Allah says, this is what I want to leave you with. When people do that, they have lost this world and the next. What does that mean? This person lost this world and the next. If you can hold on, look, human beings were made in toil, in labor and difficulty. Whether you believe in Allah or not, you will still have challenges in life, and it is going to be tough to make a living. It's still going to be tough to battle a sickness. This life, it's not like for believers, they get luxury, and disbelievers get difficulty. No, Allah made all human beings in struggle. That's what He said. If you could go through the struggle with Iman, then you will have the best of this life. And while you are making the best of this life, you'll be making the best of the next life too. You'll get a kind of peace nobody else enjoys. You're sick, and the disbeliever is sick, but in your sickness you still find peace and they find no peace. You're in financial trouble, they're in financial trouble, exactly the same kind of trouble, exactly the same kind of hunger, but still your heart is still at ease, Allah is still giving you tranquility. Allah is still rewarding you, Allah is still protecting you, and they're miserable. You made this life worse for yourself too, and on top of it you missed out on the next life. This is why we ask the qualification of Hasana means when you ask Allah for good things in this life, it means good on the outside and good on the inside, good as in beautiful, tasty, enjoyable. From the outside and good for my next life, actually good for me in the long run, building my akhirah at the same time. This is, and therefore and as a result, good in the next life. Something that's beautiful and good on the inside as well.